But now the story of the life of Jacob is one that has always interested me and intrigued me. Now you must understand that Jacob was not an ordinary kind of brother. Brother Swaffer, Jacob was a complex brother who went through many and varied experiences through his lifetime. He was a brother who felt the fallout and the results of being in a dysfunctional family with a dysfunctional mother who favored him over his brother. So you thought dysfunction was a new thing, but it's right here in the Bible. He was a brother who knew what it was to grow up in a dysfunctional house with a mama who made it clear that she loved him more than she loved his brother. And in this particular preaching pericope, you all, this text, we find Jacob where we find him as a result of a number of bad choices that he made. The Bible says it started when his father Isaac was ready to bless his elder brother Esau, as was the custom. Now, if you've been to Sunday school and read at least one commentary, you do understand it in the first century ancient world that the blessing was always passed down from the older child to the younger child. So it was the custom. So if daddy was not doing anything wrong, when he got ready to bless his boys, that he called for Esau first because Esau was the oldest son. It was customary to a father to give the blessing and the inheritance, not just a piece of the blessing, but a double portion of the blessing to the oldest son. Are y'all praying for me? However, when Isaac was ready to do so, the Bible says that his wife Rebekah was troubled by this. Why? Because she loved the baby boy. She favored Jacob over Esau. So when her husband said, "Send in my boys, I'm ready to pronounce my blessing," she did not agree with the decision and the custom as they had been raised. And so she takes advantage of the fact that her husband is old and his eyesight is bad, and she tricked him into giving the birthright to Jacob. Are y'all praying with me? Now, one of the things, people of God, that has always interested me and intrigued me by this particular move that Rebekah makes is that if you read the entire story, you will discover that God had already told Rebekah that the younger son would have precedent over the older son. God had already told Rebekah that the younger son would be the one of blessing and promise. God had already promised to bless Jacob, yet Rebekah thought it was necessary to take matters into her own hand. Let me put that in rewind. It was not like she was left to guess and wonder what was going to happen to her baby. God had already told Rebekah, "Don't worry, I'm going to bless your boy. Don't worry, the younger boy will have favor over the older boy." But in spite of what God had already promised, she decided she was going to manipulate and cause a mess. Are y'all praying with me? And one of the worst things you can ever do, people of God, is to help God out when it comes to fulfilling the promise that God has made in your life. I think I just said something. One of the worst things you can ever do is when God makes you a promise, you think it's necessary to help God keep his promise. Listen, when it comes to the timing of the fulfillment of the promise, you cannot speed it up. All you can do is mess it up. Talk, Chris Davis. You cannot speed it up. All you can do is mess it up. As a matter of fact, I'm trying to see if I got a real church in here this morning. If there's anybody here this morning that's honest enough to admit that you messed up enough times that you finally figured out that God don't need your help. If there's anybody here that can say, "I done messed up enough times, I know God does not need my help. He knows what to do. He knows when to do. He knows how to do. He knows where to do. If God said he's going to do it, all I got to do is wait on it." Look at your neighbor and say, "Wait on it." Now watch this, now watch this, now watch this, now watch this. This is about to bless somebody. Watch this now. I told you that it was the custom to give the elder son or the oldest son the blessing. So God, please don't miss this. So God making this promise to Rebekah of blessing the younger son is contrary to the cultural and the societal expectations. Church folk don't know when to shout. Let me try it one more again. God making this promise to Rebekah to bless the younger son is contrary to the cultural and the societal expectations. Somebody still didn't get it. Let me try one more time. God making the promise to Rebekah to bless the younger son is contrary to the cultural and the societal expectation. Somebody still ain't got it. Let me help you. God is not bound by the expectation of others or the expectations of society. Somebody should have shouted right there. What that means is you can laugh in the face of folk who don't think you deserve to be blessed. You can smile in the face of folk who say you don't have what it takes to be blessed. Something else, can I tell you this? And sometimes God will bless you just because other folk don't want to see you with it. Did you hear what I said? Sometimes God will bless you just because other folks say you can't have it. Bible said, well, I'm just laying the foundation right now, just laying the foundation. See, you won't miss a shout if I don't lay the foundation. Watch this now. The Bible says that Jacob gets the blessing. And upon the discovery of the trickery and the deception, he is sent by his mother to live with his uncle Laban. Are y'all praying with me? See, all of a sudden now, see, Jacob has the blessing, but Esau decides, I'm going to kill him. Are y'all praying with me? So when his mother helps him to launch the trick, she now has to hide him so he doesn't have to suffer the consequences of the trick. So she sends him, you all, to live with his uncle Laban. And the Bible says that when he gets there, he sees this pretty young thing by the name of Rachel, that he sets his eyes on Charles. He falls in love with her, and he subsequently asks for her hand in marriage. The Bible says that he agrees with her father, that he is willing to work 7 years just to have her. Now, you know this had to be some kind of woman, don't you, Thurman? 7 years, he says, I'm willing to work just so I can have her. But watch this now. At the last minute, somebody say last minute. I believe the man that worked 6 years, 11 months, 29 days and 22 hours. Are y'all praying with me? At the last minute, the Bible said that Laban sneaks Leah into the tent to consummate the marriage. Can you imagine, Charles? You've been working almost 7 years. The only thing that keeps you going, the only thing that keeps you hanging in there is you know it won't be much longer before I'm going to get what I've been working for. Y'all praying with me? You done worked hard that day. I wish I done had the kids in here. You done worked hard that day, that went in, took your shower, put the smell good on, because you know tonight is the night that you make her a woman. I mean, you've been planning for it, y'all, for 6 years. I can't get no help in the house today. I mean, for 7 years, you've been waiting on this one. I can't get no help, Solomon. So the Bible says that old Laban sneaks Leah into the tent to consummate the marriage. Now, before you start feeling sorry for Sister Leah, nowhere do you ever read in the Bible that she started crying foul. That she said, Daddy, this ain't right. Daddy, I don't want to do it. In other words, Leah was willing to go along to get along. She was down for whatever as long as she was getting what she wanted. Are the grown folks still praying with me? Can I tell you something else about this little situation that helped me and it'll help you too if you reach and grab it? Leah knew that Jacob wanted Rachel. She hadn't just heard that. She knew the man was working for her sister. Y'all praying with me? So she's willing to pretend to be somebody else to get what she wants. Somebody just missed what I said. See, anytime you got to be somebody other than who you are to get what you want, then that's something you don't need. I wish I had some help in here now. If you got to pretend to be somebody else, there's something or somebody you don't need in your life. If I got to pretend to be somebody else to get along with you, I don't need you. If I got to fake like I'm somebody else to hang out with you, I don't need you. Stop lying talking about them your nieces and your nephews, them your babies. If he don't want your babies, he don't want you. I can't get no help in the house. You can't pretend to be somebody